Hello, hello, and welcome to Front Row Vendors Podcast. I am your host, Autumn, and today, you guys, I have the most beautiful and talented, I know, we're going to go ahead and go there, Catherine with Southern Belle Weddings and Events. She is by far one of my really, really good friends, and I've gotten to know her for quite a while. It's been about a year and a half maybe since we last did a shoot. No. Well, it's our first shoot. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. We've got other people with her. We've got a cat and we've got also a dog in the background. So they may make appearances as well.
Real life. Front row seat.
Right. So tell me so what do you got on your mug? You got, what does it say?
Oh, this totally has dog hair in it.
And what does the shirt say?
Not today, Satan.
Hell yes. This is exactly my kind of people right here. All right. So let's start this off. So Kat, how did you get started in weddings?
Oh my goodness. Do you want the long creepy version or like the
creepy's good. I'm good with creepy. Yeah, let's do it.
So I, for whatever reason, have been in love with weddings for as long as I can remember. My poor sweet husband, but was dating him at the time, and this was almost 8 years ago.
Wow.
And we were having this whole like conversation, hanging out in a bar, and we were just getting to know each other. And I think we were on our like 5th date or something. And I'm very blunt. I don't know if you know that about me.
Oh no.
And I don't really have a filter. So
good to
something
know.
I said to him at the fresh young age of 22, I was like, listen, like, I'm not dating for fun. I'm dating because like, I really want to settle down. I want to get married. And he was like, he's 5 years older than me. And he was like, super cool. I'm in that too. Like, I'm here for it. And so then we were talking about like what we both wanted to do when we grow up. We were both working in a bar at the same time. And I told him, I was like, I don't really know. Like, I love weddings. Loved them. I have 2 older sisters and they had just gotten married.
Right.
I was like, but I've seen Mothers of the Bride and they are terrifying. So I think I just want to do like wedding cakes or something. Fun facts, I don't eat sugar.
How the hell would you do wedding cakes?
You just eat them and then you see how they taste. If they're good, I'll keep doing it.
There you go.
I don't know. But so I went to culinary school for a minute for that. Get back to me on that one. But I warned him. I was like, if you ever come over, I've got an ungodly amount of wedding magazines. Like an ungodly amount of wedding magazines. Like, don't be freaked out.
Right. I was about to say, so you could have probably scared him away.
Yeah, like it's a lot. And he was like, well, why do you have so many? And I was like, well, I had a girlfriend who was engaged and I bought a fake engagement ring and went to like the Forever Bridal show one time. So apparently if you go to that, you get signed up for wedding magazines, and I never stopped it because I love weddings. So creepy.
Shout out to Forever Bridal.
Right. Oh yeah. Thanks, y'all. But yeah, so fast forward, I don't know, like 2-3 years after that, and we were planning our wedding. I didn't freak him out, and nice, thanks, sweetheart. But we were planning our wedding, and I didn't have a planner. And like I said, I have 2 older sisters. They had been married, but I was the last one, and I'm the youngest of all my friends, and everyone at this time were all having babies. Like I had 5 bridesmaids, and I should have had 6, but one of them had just had a baby 10 days before our wedding. One was 12 weeks pregnant on the day we got married, and one was 6 months pregnant. And one of them had just had 2 kids. Like everyone had babies. Everyone had babies. And so by the time my wedding came around, like it was more baby focused than wedding focused.
Right.
And I also got married out of town, which I know a destination is, that's a big expense on people. And it just felt like no one was my cheerleader. Oh. And it just didn't, like, people were excited but not like I had seen previously.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
my sisters had planners, small town North Carolina. You tell this guy how much you want to spend, and he's like, all right, I'll handle the whole thing. Like, he's a one-stop shop, which is amazing. But I was planning a wedding in Asheville, which
Right.
I don't live in yet. And no one lived there. And there is no one-stop shop. And so it was just me. And every time, like, I wanted to book someone, like, nobody would get back to me in this, like, oh my God, I'm getting married, like, answer me
Oh,
sort of time
shit.
frame that, you know, every bride kind of wants. And my mom is like, well, you love planning weddings, like, just, you've got this. I love my mother. She was very excited. I was the only one who didn't get married in my hometown, but I mean, it just was a different mentality than what everyone else had. Um and yeah, I felt like when our wedding came and went, like, that's what I was supposed to do. Like, it set my heart on fire to do it. Um, and where I got married, really good friends with the venue owner, just did a wedding with him in October, like, love him. But he kept giving me such a hard time because we got married in this, like, barn in Asheville
Ooh.
in this, like, valley. It was amazing. But he kept finding me in one of the stalls. Like, there were these stalls in between. So there was a photo booth in one and, like, gifts in another. And then like, this coffee station, and it would connect to, like, where you were eating and the dance floor.
Right.
And I just stood there like this in my wedding gown, like, watching everything. Like, I just wanted to see all of it come together. I just wanted to watch everyone enjoy themselves. And, like, it was just awesome. Like, my husband kept finding me and, like, pulling me on the dance floor, which, again, thank you, sweetheart.
Right.
But I just wanted to see all of it come together. And after we did that, like, anytime someone talked about a wedding, it's actually really bad and creepy. Again, it's not creepy. It's what I do for a living. But, like, now if I hear someone or if I see, like, one ring, I'm like, oh my God, tell me everything. I'm saying, like, ring, like, what do you have planned? Where are you planning it? Like, what's your budget? This isn't weird yet, is it? Okay. So here's what I would do. And, like, could not help myself. Like, when my oldest sister got married, she's been married, I think, 12 years. She got married in yeah, she's been married 12 years. And I can remember, like, getting all up in her business way before I knew. She's 7 years older than me. So way before I knew what to do.
Oh,
And
wow.
it just, you know, I just wanted to be someone's cheerleader and just be excited for him, because I am. Like, I don't care how many times I hear the Wobble song, I can't help but dance to it. Like, I can't, you
Right.
know, I don't care how many times we talk about, like, which centerpiece looks like what. You want to do a low compo? Like, dope. Let's do it. You know, I'm not trying to change the world, but I'm trying to change your perspective on planning.
Right.
You
Because
know,
planning is super stressful.
it's so stressful. And when you feel like you're in it alone, like, it just bummed me out. Like, it
Right.
honestly, I mean, I think I love all my bridesmaids. I love my family. They really are the most amazing people. And I cannot express how grateful I am to them, because I am very Southern. We did follow the Southern traditional ways. My parents paid for it. You know, it's so grateful. But I can remember asking my bridesmaids, like, hey, when we get to town, does anyone want to go get pedicures with me? Like, you know, and they were like, we're already spending a lot for your wedding. So I don't know when we're going to have time for that. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, okay. And, like, I mean, I was kind of bummed. You know, I mean, everyone
shit.
was pregnant and living their life, and it was fresh and new for me. And my like I said, my husband, I mean, he's an amazing human being, but he was like, I'll go get a pedicure with you. Like, I'm not letting you do that alone. And, you know, whether it's your fiance or whomever, like, if none of your bridesmaids want to get a pedicure, girlfriend, I have a nail person I've seen for 7 years. Let's go get you a pedicure. I can
Oh, I
text that
love
woman. She's
that.
amazing.
Oh my
But,
God.
you know, it just, I want to be there. I don't just want to be the hired help. I want to be your person, that you can be like, oh my God, Becky's being such a bench.
Right.
But you know, I mean, I want to be your person. You want to go get coffee and tell me how your aunt is trying to force her daughter into being a junior bridesmaid after you've told her no for 2 years? Like, let's chat.
Oh my God. So really good best friend is what you want to be, technically.
Yeah, but I'm a really bad friend.
Well, don't say that. Why would
Like,
you?
I'm
What do you
really
mean?
fun.
Do what?
I was like, I'm really fun.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, I'm going to encourage all the fun.
Right.
Could be good or bad. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So real quick, for the people who are not actually watching the video, who are watching the video, I'm taking a ton of notes and I've written down stuff. So if I'm looking down, I'm totally interested in her conversation, but I'm a very OCD, I take notes kind of person. So, what would be one thing that would make you super stressful with planning weddings? Would it be like communication with the bride if the bride isn't very communicative, or what would be something that would cause you just to have like a stressful moment?
Oh my gosh. It's a me thing. It's absolutely a me thing.
It's not you, it's me.
It's always me. Anytime a bride is like, can we just like meet? And that's it. And I'm like, why?
Like, right. You expect worse?
Like what? Oh yes. I'm such a like, do you hate me? Because it's just an open-ended, like, can we meet? Stresses me out beyond anything. And I have to like bring myself back. Because I am a type 3 Enneagram.
Oh, there we go.
So I'm very like, I'm proud of what I do. And I love what I do. And if I start to think you're unhappy with what I'm doing, I'm like, oh my God, this is it for me. And every time I have a bride that I love right now, and we literally meet once a month. And for the first like 3 times she did, I was like, oh my God, this is it. She's going to tell me how much she hates me. No, oh my God. We literally like sit there and talk for 2 hours.
Oh,
5 minutes is about wedding stuff. And the rest of it, like, we're just hanging out. But that to me is the most like, just kind of blanket, can we meet?
a lot of brides need that. That's almost like somewhat therapeutic, being able to go and talk to somebody and not it just be about their wedding, but even to a vendor who knows exactly what they're talking about, but just shoot the shit really and just have fun.
Yeah. And it was so funny because they're going through marriage classes, and she was telling me, she was like, oh my gosh, we got in this fight and I felt really bad. And I was like, that's okay though. Like,
Right.
you are learning from that. Like, I'm your safe space to she was like, I can't tell my mom we got in this fight. And like, I was like, don't, moms are judgmental. I love my mother. My also born and raised in the South. So anybody from the South gets it. But so, I mean, it just, we're good. Oh, I see it's my dogs are in here. But yeah, I mean, any of them that just do a blanket statement, like,
Right.
can meet. I used to do sales in a previous career life. And so anytime you want to do a meeting, it's like, hey, I would love to get together. Let's talk about XYZ.
Right.
Be much better with that. But if it's just can we meet out?
Or
like, I'm like,
we need to talk.
it stresses me out. Like, guys, go.
What would you feel like the number one thing that a bride stresses out the most when planning her wedding? Even with you being involved, what would be something that is normal for a bride to stress out about? So that way,
I feel like the timeline.
Okay.
The timeline and where are we at? Should we be getting this done? What haven't we done? What have we done? Yes. Because even if you book everything right away, it's like, well, what am I missing? When you're done, what am I missing?
Right.
What should I be getting done right now? Versus, even if you book stuff, along the way, it's like, well, should we have already booked this now? It's like,
oh, so you're talking about the wedding planning timeline versus a timeline for the wedding day.
yes.
Okay.
So I'm just going to shut that. Yeah, because it's definitely one where a lot of people like, yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes into wedding planning.
Right.
And it just depends on the type of person you are. But I feel like the world puts out so much, like if you go to the Knot or Wedding Wire, and they're wonderful, but they're like, this is what you should be doing within these months.
Right.
Like, it's a wonderful guideline.
Exactly.
If that doesn't fit your schedule, the world doesn't stop.
Right.
Or if catering takes a little longer, the world doesn't stop.
Right.
You know, people plan weddings in 2 months and they're beautiful. Please don't do that to me, but it happens. You know, and I feel like that's one that just kind of stresses people out more than not. And I don't think that that's something that's realized.
I think one of the things that I've come across is brides get really hung up, I think, on their save the dates. Like they have to go out at a certain time. And I think it's like you said, Wedding Wire and the Knot has really honed in on a, what is it, 6 or 8 month point that you have to mail them out.
But what if I'm getting married in Jamaica?
Well, not only that, but you know, even if you were to send it out that early in the game, those damn invites are going to probably fall off the refrigerator, go into a junk drawer. How are people going to really remember? It's better to almost send maybe a little bit later in the game, I would think.
Well, so it depends. I mean, if you're living in this city that you're getting married in,
right?
85% of your guests are there. Really, that like 6 to 8 month window. Sometimes it's 6 months.
Right.
Everyone's already here.
Right.
It's just a courtesy to people who are not in town. So I can remember, like I said, I have a very Southern and traditional mother. So when it came for us and our save the dates, I mean, I sent them out 10 months in advance. We got married in October in Asheville. Don't know if you've ever been there in October.
I've been there in January. That shit's not fun.
That's not, it's cold. No, but it's peak leaf changing time.
Right.
So
right.
Expensive and everything's booked. And so for me, I was like, I'm going to send them out early, but I'm sending it out early because.
Well, no, that makes total sense.
Yeah. Gives people, and my mom was like, well, 6 to 8 months. And I'm like, I'm comfortable with earlier because I don't want to say younger by any means, but I was younger and I'd come from like a service back, like waiting tables and bartending. And I was like, people have to save up. Like,
right.
It's not cheap for a destination.
Right.
But if you're local, one of my things that I tell my bride is, regardless what those things say, like they're flexible. Put what you think is the most important in place first.
That's a good idea.
And work the way that like is gonna make you enjoy the process.
Right.
So I think it says, you know, book your venue and then do your caterer and your DJ and, you know, there's that route. But like, if your number one thing is your photographer and your design, book your photographer and your design.
Right.
Like, go ahead and do
makes
that.
Sense.
It's gonna make you feel more comfortable in the process than like waiting. Or if you are the kind of person that you just want to knock it out, like knock all of it out, but don't feel like you're missing something. You're not going to have FOMO, you know.
Right.
Stop looking at Pinterest once you book something. I'm going to say that loosely. I still do it. But, you know, I mean, just, I feel like the planning timeline, because it does tend to be a little bit more fluid. It isn't like a hard, like, 12 months out, you have to have this done.
Right.
Sometimes it takes longer and that's okay.
Well, yeah, not every wedding is the same. So you can't kind of go off of one timeline.
Are they helpful? Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to make sure you're not missing a detail, perfect.
Right.
But if catering takes a little longer because you're not satisfied with one person or the communication is taking, you know, a while.
Right.
That's okay. It's totally okay. People still want your money. By the way, people still want your money. I think I had such a hard time with that. I didn't understand why no one was responding to me. Like, why don't you want my money?
Oh my God.
They still want my money.
What would you feel is a good start or a good time for a bride to actually book a wedding coordinator? I
think it
know.
depends on the kind of bride that you are.
Okay.
If you are incredibly type A and you've been dreaming of planning your wedding your whole life, and there's nothing anyone can say to like make it different. I mean, you could do it 6 months out. I don't know that you're going to have, I don't know that your options are endless at that point.
Right, right.
But, I feel like working with some people who like, they're so headstrong. They know exactly what they want, hiring a full wedding planner. It's kind of like, I don't, I'm going to, I'm going to say that loosely, but to me, it kind of feels like a waste of your money.
Okay.
Because you're already doing the things that you want.
Right.
If it's like, hey, I literally don't have time. Can you do all of this for me? Sure, do it. Totally worth your money.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But, if it's just, I don't know. Like, I feel like you're more, I was born to get married people, 6 months out. That's totally normal. If you are the kind of person who you're like, I didn't ever think I would get married, wasn't really in the cards for me, not really sure. I mean, book as far out as you want, I guess.
Right.
I mean, normally I'll see 12 months. I've done as far as, a year and a half,
Oh,
2 years. But yeah, I think 12 months is
that's good.
14.
Okay.
12,
Do you
just
offer?
depends on the kind of person you are.
Okay. Do you offer both day of or full event coordinator? And then if you do, what's the
Yeah.
difference?
So I offer a range. I do this 60-day.
Ooh, so what's that?
So basically it's everything that you would get in a day of. But as we were just talking, I love to be your cheerleader. So I can't just show up on your day.
Right.
I want to know like who you are. I want to know, if somebody has a question and it's your wedding day, I want to be able to fully answer that for you and
Right.
not have to come to you and say like, hey, so a certain flower didn't come in. Like, okay, not a big deal. Let's just make what we have work. That wasn't the main thing. The main thing was the pictures,
Right.
whatever that may be. Like, I want to have full confidence in saying that things for you. So with 60 days, I put a nice little red bow on everything that you've done and then kind of take over the communication for your vendors. So in that last 2 months, you get to sit back and enjoy planning. You get to answer all of the questions that your mother-in-law, Pam always has questions. Like
I
just
love
all the
that.
questions that everyone else has.
Right.
Without having to worry about like, oh, did I talk to this vendor? Did this vendor need something from me? Like, that's why I'm going to come in and kind of scoop everything up and reach out to each vendor and say, hey, do you still need something? And if you do, please let me know what it is. I'm going to put together an email. And then from there, I'll send an email out and it might deal with your DJ, your photographer. I don't know, maybe your cake person, and it'll be one blanket email instead of sending back 15 to 15 different people.
Oh, that's good.
So the bride gets to enjoy the time, as well as making sure, with all of that, I'm still there on the day. I'm still there the day before, helping with your rehearsal. Even if I know some churches already have a person.
Right. Right.
But what I found is that a lot of people don't know who that person is. And
Great.
so I'm a person, like I'm your person. Like I'm in it for the long haul with you. I'm going to show up. I'm going to meet all your wedding party beforehand, just so they're not like, here's a chick with the purple hair. I'm like,
You know her?
Does she go to this school? Sort of thing. So I'm there. I'm there. So your friends and family get a feel for who I am. I'm not just a random stranger. But I'll do your floor plan. I'll do your timeline. And 60 days doesn't mean like, don't talk to me before then. It just means
That's really good to know.
Yeah. It just means the 60 days is when I'm like all in it with you. We're going to set up meetings. We're going to go, you know, do your walkthrough. But if you need something beforehand, like, hey, I saw this one bride you had, loved her hair and makeup. Who did it? Here for you. Hey, I booked this vendor. I'm thinking about this vendor. Have you heard about them? What do you think? Like, I'm here. It's not like it's going to cost you extra.
I've
No.
actually heard some shit about that, like some coordinators doing that. They don't talk to their brides until it's contracted. Right?
No.
I know.
Like I said, I want to be your cheerleader. I want to help you. I want you to enjoy the process. And if you have questions, I'm here for them. You know, I'm not going to be like, sorry. You know, it just, on the other hand, please don't call me every day at midnight to ask me your questions.
No, yeah, right.
Before the 60 days.
There is a guideline.
You know, really at 60 days, it's like, I'm available to you 24/7, you know, email, phone call, text. Whereas before it might be, you know, you can email me and it might be 24 hours.
Right.
Whereas within the 60 days, like, it's immediate, you know, it's probably going to be immediate beforehand. Let's be serious. I can't just let an email sit in my inbox. It's
Which
bad,
is good.
but
Well, that's great because I you know, because I try to stress to a lot of my brides is when, you know, they respond saying, oh my God, you got back so quick. Well, you guys are on a time crunch. You guys got to get your answers now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be one of those people that are going to respond now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh no, I totally agree. The timing is everything.
Right.
So like I said, I was in sales beforehand. And if you miss that window, like, it's gone.
Yep.
But you don't know. Yeah. You don't know until you've, at least if I've answered you and you're like, you're not really a good fit for me.
Right.
Dope. That's fine. But at least I was there.
Right.
You know, this goes back to like my planning where like no one answered me. Like,
right.
Why? So, you know, at least I know, hey, I'm not a good fit for you, rather than, hey, I'm just negligent.
Exactly. Well, and then speaking of good fit, what do you feel would be the most perfect bride for you?
I don't know.
She's taking a pause, guys.
I know. No, I feel like my brides have all been slightly different, but at the end of the day, they are brides that, you know, I text and just say like, one bride, her mom just sold the family business, and I messaged her and I was like, hey, how's your mom doing? Like, I know this week has been tough. How's it going? I think I've realized that I know when a bride is my bride, and this sounds so silly, but when they send me pictures of the dresses they're trying on.
Yes.
You know, because Pam doesn't get to go to your wedding dress trials. You know, Pam
sucks, by the way.
Pam sucks. Right. But like, Pam's your mom's first or second, third cousin, whatever, and is very opinionated, and we love her. But we don't invite her to everything. And so I feel like the brides that I've really connected with are the ones that are like, Kat, what do you think? And I'm like, like, you trust me enough and you value what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking. And like, that to me is like, okay, there's an actual friendship here. I'm not the hired help anymore. Like, I'm with you in it.
Right.
Those are the brides that I've realized that I'm like, I know you got married and you're not actually paying for me anymore, but good luck getting rid of me. We now live together. This is our life.
That's awesome.
And they're not always like a full planned bride. I have some brides who they've been like a partial or a day of, and they still are like, oh, I picked my dress. I'm like, oh my God, I love it. You know, I'm never gonna be like, well, that dress is ugly.
No.
Yeah. But it's the whole thought of like, you trust me enough to like, and you like me enough to like put me in it with you.
That's a really forever bond too.
Oh my God. it literally, I see them and I was not the one who cried in a wedding dress. I was like, that's dumb. But when I see like my brides in their dress, I'm like, are you just like the prettiest person I've ever seen? Like,
Right. But you've built a relationship with them and you've
yeah.
built a bond, like you said. And I mean, you kind of get emotional when you see a bride in that. That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh. And I end up being there for all the as your planner, I'm in there for all of the weird moments that you
Right.
don't expect. Like your photographer, yes, they need to be in on those moments of like first look with dad or, but when it gets to the point where it's like, hey, I picked the dress, here we are, we planned this whole thing together. Um, yeah, it just, I don't know, like I'm there with you.
Right.
Um, those are the ones that I just like can't help myself with. I can't remember one bride, and she and I worked together for a really long time. She is the first bride to ever book me. Um, and I freaking love her. Like, I just love her. But on her wedding day, I asked, because we planned it, I think, like almost 2 years. And I asked her, I was like, do you want to see your reception before everyone gets in? Like, who do you want in there with you? Do you want bridesmaids, all these people? And she goes, yeah, I want you and I to go in and look at it. And
Oh,
I was like, do you want your husband? And she was like, I mean, he's fine, but like you and I did this. I want us to go in and enjoy it together. And I freaking cried. I'm not a crier, but I like those
damn.
those are my people. The ones who just I'm not the hired help. Like I'm your friend. I'm your person. I'm good luck getting rid of me at the end of your wedding.
God, that was sweet. I like when brides actually take the time to want to look at their details too, because for the most part, once cocktail hour ends, like they're introduced, no one gets to really see how it
Yeah.
was before everybody sat their stuff down.
Yeah.
That's
And I mean,
awesome.
especially when we do like a full plan together, it's so hard to see your details amongst the 100 plus people who are there to see your wedding.
Right.
Because you can see it and you're like, oh, my main thing was the ambiance and I wanted to see the room full of love. Um, but you and I just picked out, like, we spent weeks designing our centerpieces. We went to these rental meetings and we picked out specific linens for it. Like, you want to see that without Uncle Joe wiping his mouth with that napkin we just decided was going to be a Tide napkin placed nicely on your plate.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
perfect.
you want to see those things beforehand.
It's so
So
funny because I can actually picture that. It's awesome.
dude, Uncle Joe who sits at like table 4, but he's family, who
Right.
goes up and like doesn't care about his place card and kind of knocks it. You're like, that was only $1.25. All right. And then
Right.
like it's the napkin that I've probably sat there the whole night before for 2 hours, like nodding perfectly, just unfold it and is like,
Right. He's here.
he lives here. This is it.
Oh my
Gonna
God.
be mad that the music's too loud. Uncle Joe. Of
Oh, geez. And he must be married to Pam.
course he's married to Pam. They go
Uh,
together.
well, how do you feel about brides that tend to hold on to the reins versus letting you take control versus brides that let you take full control over the wedding?
That's a really good question. I feel like with
Or what would you
having
give
that,
some advice, maybe?
I don't, hmm, I don't know, because I feel like with having that relationship, like I would know that about you,
Right.
that you can't help yourself, that
Right.
you're so immersed in this. Um, but for brides who really want to take control, um, you hired us for a reason.
Right.
I mean, we're here for you. So let us be there for you. I feel like they're the ones who, maybe you need a different style of communication. And I know how I communicate and I know how I like to be communicated with, but that might not be your style. So just kind of giving us that insight of like I see that you like to take things on let me step in and help here, here, and here. You know, what are the most important things to you? Okay, well, let me take over these.
Good way.
And that's not, I mean, I feel like that's when people ask, like, oh my God, how many bridezillas do you deal with? I don't deal with any. I deal with brides that they just communicate in a different way, and I need to figure out how that is to
Damn.
fit who they
You
are.
just drop some knowledge on
Like,
that was perfect. I
I
love
mean,
that.
it's not, it's not a bridezilla. It's a relationship. And typically, if your communication sucks, you get broken up with.
Right.
It's not really a thing when there's a contract involved. I mean, there is. Please, for the love
Right.
of,
Other people start getting involved and yeah.
that's awful. But yeah, I mean, it's just a way to who they are. Versus, oh man, versus brides who are so laid back. I've had a couple of them and I love them just because they are just funny as crap. They tend to be the brides who are like, oh, I never thought I'd get married. I don't really care. So,
Nice.
I mean, it's weird,
Right.
but that's how they kind of work things. And so I asked, like, if you've hired me for a full plan, um, how involved do you want to be? Do you want, do you want to go to every meeting? Do you, like, if I send you a proposal for a design, do you want to meet the florist?
Right.
I mean, is that, I love every florist I've ever worked with. But the florist doesn't tend to really meet the bride and spend a lot of time with them. So if I can do that communication because the bride doesn't care, but the florist is passionate about what they do, I think the bride doesn't need to be involved. I got you. I'll do it and I'll send you all the notes and I'll keep you in on the emails. But I ask every bride going into a full plan, how involved or uninvolved do you want to be? What are the areas that you genuinely care about? And let's focus on those. And if there are any other areas, I'll send you 2 or 3 options. You can tell me, love this, hate this. Let's look at a different option. And we'll go from there. But I don't have an issue with either one, as long as I don't just feel like the hired help.
Right.
I mean, as long as you're like, Kat, let's do this together. Like, okay, let's do it together. You want to be in on every meeting? Let's do it. It's more time I got to spend with you. Let's do it. If you don't want to, like, oh my God, there's one who just would send me emails and they were the funniest thing. She was like, don't care. You've got my design. What would I want? And I'm like, oh,
That's
probably
pretty
this
priceless.
one. Yeah. So it's so funny.
Oh my
Love
God,
her.
I love
I
that.
love her. But yeah. So for me, it doesn't matter, because that's something that I try and set the standard before going into it.
Good for you. Yeah.
So I mentally know what it is that you need and
Right.
how to adjust to it. If you're super laid back and all of a sudden 60 days out, you're like, holy farts, what has happened? Where have we gone? What details have I missed? And all of a sudden they snap to and realize they're getting married in 60 days. Cool. Let's ramp up the communication. Like, I'm going to do what fits you,
Right.
so it doesn't matter either way.
Oh, there he is.
I feel like a package has been delivered. Merry Christmas.
Right.
But yeah, I don't have qualms with either one.
Well,
I think
good.
they're both, I just know that you hired someone for a reason.
Right.
Whatever that may be. And as much as I hate that open-ended, hey, can we meet? Feedback is the best data to, like, make everything better.
Right.
And to make me better. And so if you're like, hey, love what you're doing. I'm a little stressed about this. Could we blah, blah, blah? I'm going to fix it. If that's what you need.
Right.
Or if it's like, you're communicating like a lot. I'm really hungover. Can you just not? Cool. Love it. Love the feedback.
That's perfect.
So
Well, what would you, besides your wedding, what would you feel as though the wedding that you did was like your turn point where you're like, this is it. This is the shit I want to do. I want to do nothing but weddings. Like, what confirmed it for you?
Oh my gosh. I don't remember like the one specific wedding.
Right.
I can, I used to shadow a company, and every time I would show up for whatever, even if it was like guard the cake, it literally set my heart on fire. Just being there. So it wasn't like one specific thing, but every time I see a wedding or a bride, or someone engaged for that matter,
Right.
it it just sends me into like a, oh my gosh, I just want to know everything and let me help you. And I mean, yeah. I was just on vacation at a resort in Puerto Rico.
I
There it
think
is.
I actually saw the picture.
Did you? This was bad. And there was the
Oh.
guys weren't wearing undershirts, and all of their boutonnieres had fallen. And my husband was like, "Don't do it." And I was like, "Cool, cool, cool, cool. Totally not gonna do it. Super cool." And there was a casino attached. He was like, "I'm just gonna walk through the casino," and I was like, "Wonderful! You do you, man. Go through that casino." The second he left, my dad looked at me. He was like, "You're gonna go fix that boutonniere, aren't you?" And I was like, yes, I am. And like, couldn't help myself. Literally, could not help myself because I know, looking back at those photos and every boutonniere being like to the side,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so. I can't see one bride who was like, love that. Thank you. How I wanted those. That's what we paid for. Like, no, you didn't. So yeah, I totally went and like corrected some boutonnieres, talked to some random strangers,
Oh my God.
and it's stuff like that. Like, I mean, my husband and I were out on a date one Valentine's Day, and we were sitting beside another couple, and he was talking to me, and finally I was like, bro, shush please, just for a second. And I could see that this girl had an engagement ring, and she was just sitting there talking, and her fiance was like glazed over. And I totally crashed that like Valentine's Day dinner, and I was like, oh my God, so are you talking about weddings? Like, this isn't weird. I'm a wedding planner. And the fiance was like, yes, like just relieved that he didn't have to hear it anymore. And my
Oh,
husband was like, I am so sorry. And he was like embarrassed, and the groom was like, no, it's cool. It's cool. Because the bride was talking about like where her shoes were going to come from, and like for her reception dress, what was she going to wear? She couldn't find anything that she liked. What did it's
right.
moments like that they all kind of remind me that I'm doing what I love.
Right.
I just can't help myself.
Well, yeah, you're like one of the friends that just doesn't get annoyed with the conversation of the bride planning the wedding, because let's face it, no matter how close the friends are, they're going to get tired of hearing, like you said, about the shoes, about the caterer, about what linens you're using. But for some reason, you're just going to be one of those people that just like want to hear and absorb every single thing.
Yeah.
So that's so good for a bride to have.
Well, it's probably not wonderful for the bar that I work at. But because, I'm recently launched my own company, I still have to pay bills. Go figure. You don't get to pay bills on Yelp reviews. And so I get the really amazing opportunity to meet couples who hang out at bars. Legitimately, like, it's wonderful because most people drink. And
Right.
so I notice, because things I can't help myself with, like I notice when someone's wearing a ring. And so every time, by the way, I don't know if you've caught on to this yet. I'm a very subtle extrovert. And so every time I see someone with one ring, I'm like, oh my God, your ring is beautiful. Tell me, like, when is it new? Because it's so shiny. Like, when did you get it? What do you have planned? Like, tell me your life. And they just like stop and they're like, really? And get so excited. Like,
Oh,
they
I
don't
know.
expect that, at a bar. And I was like, it's not as weird as it seems. I know I just handed you a beer, but I'm also a wedding planner. And they're like, oh, okay. And so literally had a conversation last night with two women who are getting married, and they want to keep it as low as possible, but they told me their date. They told me where they're getting married. And I was like, okay, here's what you should think about. It's going to be hot. I know that like your reception space and your dance floor is all kind of covered. But mid-May, I mean, this past May, at the end of the month, it was like 1,000 degrees.
Right.
It's hot. So if you plan on getting married outside, just look into this one rental company. They have these umbrellas. You don't have to do a huge tent. It just will give your guests enough shade during the ceremony. These things look really pretty. They have big, anyway, I was like, but you can move on to your cocktail hours. So, and kind of line the dance floor. And they just kind of looked at me and I'm like, anyways, enjoy the beer. But they stopped and they were like, okay, wait, what was that rental company? Like what? Because we like that idea just in case. And I was like, not here to sell you things that I don't think you need. I'm here to help. And if you're telling me you're on a budget, I know you don't want your guests passing out. Sweet Mima on the, May heat.
Right.
Mima's pass out.
Well, speaking of heat, so we are in North Carolina. You're in Raleigh. You're based on Raleigh, correct?
Yes, but hopefully within the next year, I'll be based out of Asheville.
Now, are you good with traveling and doing destination weddings?
Love traveling.
Okay.
Let me help you. The more I thought about marketing to one area, I have family that literally lives all over. And so one of my sisters lives in the Pinehurst area, only an hour outside of Raleigh. Free place to stay.
Right.
And I know a lot of vendors in Raleigh already. So it's easier that way. I have one sister that lives in Goldsboro. And so there's an amazing venue out there. There are a couple of them, but also kind of close to the beach. My family, we have a place on the beach. And so really kind of making it versatile because I don't want to just pigeonhole myself into one place. I want to be flexible. And, if you like me for who I am, and you're like, man, I really want to plan a wedding with you. I just don't live here and your rates are going to be insane.
Right.
As long as I'm close by and can get away with staying somewhere for free, like I'm going to do that. You shouldn't have to pay for me if it's an option. But my parents live outside of DC. So I'm dying to do stuff in Virginia.
Oh God, I love DC.
Yeah, it's so bad. I mean, it's expensive, but
it's beautiful.
So beautiful. But so no, I totally travel. I love traveling. Let me meet more people. Again, I'm only kind of an extrovert.
Well, what do you feel would be one thing that makes you set yourself apart from everybody else? Besides being a small extrovert.
It's a tiny extrovert. Really is kind of like an introvert. No. I think I'm just real.
Okay.
And I don't want to say that in like a quirky way. Or like, oh, everyone thinks they're real. Like during a consult, I will apologize and warn you that I do not have a filter. It is my blessing and my curse. I tell everyone that. It really is. My face doesn't have a very good inside voice at all. I will try to not say something, but my face does it instead. So I'm honest. I'm totally honest and open with you. I'm not going to put my agenda in above yours though. So if you really love a certain color tablecloth and ask me for my opinion, I'm instantly going to ask, how do you feel about it? What are you thinking? I'm not going to be like, yeah, that's ugly. Don't do that. No, if that's what you really love, we're gonna do it.
Work around it.
But on the other end of that, if you're sitting there saying like, hey, I'm hiring you because my venue says I have to have a person, I'm not gonna be like, okay, well, really, you need a full plan. Like that does no. I'm here. I'm not gonna sell you something you don't need. I'm not gonna talk you into something that you don't want because Pam wants to bring her niece who's 4 and you said no kids. You don't need a babysitter for it. Right. I mean, I'm on your team and I'm going to be honest with you. If you ask me about a vendor, I'm gonna tell you what I know about them, and I'm gonna let you kind of decide things for yourself. Like, hey, I know this great catering company. I freaking love them. They don't have that classic Southern look. They're all a little bit edgier. Food's unreal. Their service is on point. But if your mom is concerned about someone with tattoos, hello, my mother, I've got 7. It's weird. But like, I mean, it might make a difference. And I'm going to be
Right.
honest with you. Doesn't, not going to be like, don't do that. Their food sucks. Like, I'm never going to badmouth a vendor ever.
That's awesome.
But I'm going to let you know either my experience, or I'm going to say, you know what? Let's find out. Let's go meet them. Let's figure out that vibe. Yeah, I'm going to be real with you.
Man,
As much
so
as it
perfect.
sounds like I kind of sugarcoat things, I'm still going to be real. And at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you, what you think. And if you tell me first, like, yeah, I don't really like that much, I'm going to be like, oh, well, let's find someone different. It's probably because I did not like them either.
Right.
But I'm going to wait for you to say that first.
Well, no, but like you said, you don't put your agenda before theirs, which meaning the fact that you're not going to make sure that you're not planning your wedding, you're actually planning their wedding. So whatever they want, you're going to work yourself around it to make sure that they do get what they want.
Yeah.
And it looks
good. I really, like, I've had some people who, they're like, what kind of kickback do you get working with these vendors? And I'm like, oh, what kickback do I get? I get the joy of working with my friends. That is my kickback.
Right.
Nobody pays me. Like, if I'm recommending people, it's because I'm recommending them because they're in your budget. They're the quality that you are looking for and the look, and, they fit your vibe and they fit you.
Hell
like,
yeah.
Even if you never see your florist, that person, if you do, like, hey, I do want to meet with you, their personality should match your personality.
Right.
And it's fun, like, I want to make sure that everybody fits together really well and works together really well. And it's not, I don't get kickbacks. It's, I get the joy of working with my friends and knowing how your wedding's going to run.
Right.
Going to run smoothly. And that we're all in the same communication style. Yeah.
Dude, this was like the main reason why I did this whole podcast, is so people that can understand, like, for instance, for you, that you are truly a funny person, and totally, and I didn't say funny looking, I said funny person, but no, totally.
I agree to both.
But totally laid back, because I don't think what a bride understands is that if they hire somebody and they don't truly know, like, their personality, they could be hiring I guess a what do you call it, sore, an eyesore in their little group, and it could cause stress. And if you're causing your bride stress, you're causing everybody else stress.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's, again, even if you were looking for, I'm going to say this across the board, whatever vendor you were looking for, whether your venue says you have to have it or mom says you have to have it, whatever that is, find your people.
right.
Find your people.
Yeah.
Don't do it, if it really is, it's coming down to budget, you're gonna get what you pay for. I'm gonna say that loosely. I agree to that with all things, so I don't mean that in a harsh way. But if you're not vibing with someone, but they're the cheapest, it's, I don't know. For me personally, I feel like that would put me in a weird spot. Like, I don't really like you, but I had to have you, and now I've paid for you. Like, don't put yourself in that situation. Make sure you are finding the people who fit you best. So if you, inquire with me and say, I'm interested in 3 other people, like, go talk to those 3 other people. I want you to know that when you book me, you've booked me because of me. You're not booking me because I fit your budget. I still don't understand this about me, but apparently it's a thing that I have a big personality.
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm like the quietest one in the room always. But like, if I'm not your style, don't book me.
Right.
It's not going to be fun for you. And
Yeah.
it's not going to be fun for me. And it's going to be more stressful. So like, make sure you're doing your due diligence. And if you find that you really enjoy me, but maybe my full plan is more of an expense, well, cool. Let's look at my partial plan, or let's do my, 60-day plan.
Right.
Um, but make sure you're booking the people who fit you best, because outside of your photographer, like, you are stuck with me. Which is the beauty of of this company right now, is that it's me. You get me.
Right.
If you don't like me, that's cool. I'm not queso or guacamole. Like, I can't make everyone happy. But
That's a
if
good way of putting it.
right? But if
Right.
you love some guac with some goat cheese in it and roasted corn, like, I'm your person. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it really, that's what you're gonna get with me. You're gonna get me.
Right.
And all of this glory. My hair is not normally curled. It's normally in a really ugly bun on the top of my head. But you get me. And so I'm gonna try and get my friends on board with me. With my vendors, but for the most part, like, I feel like that's what sets me apart from everyone else. I'm not the quietest one in the room.
Right. And
So
you don't want to hire somebody that is basically going to be the boyfriend that you currently have, that you are walking into the room and your friends are going, you haven't broken up with him yet? No.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's you
and
don't
if
want to
they're
hire
wanting,
that.
yeah, and if they're wanting to everyone, like, my hair's purple. I freaking love my purple hair.
Yeah, it's
But
adorable.
if that's not your jam, that's okay.
Right.
There's someone out there. I feel like planners and vendors for your wedding are like your soulmates. If that one didn't work, that's okay. Someone better for you is coming.
Yeah.
Don't settle.
I love
Settle
that.
on,
God.
like, who you jive with. Don't settle because it fits my budget.
Right.
Don't settle because friggin' mom said I had to. No. You're still, like, I feel like the people you were stuck with the longest are your photographer and your planner
Yeah.
and your venue. Um,
That's
but
true.
like, your photographer and your planner are the people who are in your face on your wedding. Were the ones that you meet with probably more often than not.
Right.
Um, Make sure you jive with them. Like,
Oh yeah.
totally make sure you jive with them, because if you hate my purple hair, you're gonna hate it on your wedding day.
It's just that simple.
Not gonna get any better.
Right.
Might be more purple.
Well, so I think you would be able to pull out at least a really, really good story, because I feel like you got a multitude of them. But what was a moment that you went above and beyond for your couple? Like, you really went above and beyond.
I Package is here. Um, I I feel like I try and go across the board with my service.
Right.
Um, I can't really pinpoint one that there's one that I've gone over and beyond with, but that's because they moved. But like, for the most part, at the end of the night, like, I'm gonna pack up all your stuff. At the end of the night,
Oh,
I'm gonna pack up all your presents. I went to my cousin's wedding, and they had an in-house planner, and I watched at the end of the night, and they piled up all of her stuff outside with all of her gifts, and mom and dad had to sober up and load up the car. And I was like,
oh,
but it's mom and dad's day. Mom and dad just had this amazing day, and their daughter just got married. Like, they're still on this high.
right.
So I will pack up your car. I will make it the easiest for you. One one bride, her parents, it was their car, and they were like, oh, we'll just come get it in the morning. But they were concerned if their car was left in that space, if it was safe, or what have you. But they were still on that high. And I said, give me the keys. Where are you going after this? and literally packed up everything that was left, all the presents, and took their car to their hotel for them, and like met them in the bar and said, "Here are your keys back." And they were like, "We could have just gotten the car in the morning." And I was like, "No, we talked about this. Like, you didn't feel great about where it was going to be left. And you said, we trust you." And literally, like, now I'm going to their Christmas party next weekend.
Oh,
But, I
man.
mean, things like, I'm going to pack your stuff up the night before your wedding. I'm probably like, if you need that napkin, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be that person. I don't want you to have like a bridesmaid's train. Let's do this all the day before. Like it's probably me folding your napkins and tying a ribbon on them the night before. The one bride that I can think of that I went over and beyond for, she had graduated vet school and was moving. And so they didn't do like a full on honeymoon right after. And so I put them together like a Raleigh package. And it was trophy wife, trophy husband.
Right.
And then I got them, because they love their dog, I got them little treats for their dog from something from Raleigh. And, did that. But I also gifted her a desk name plaque.
Oh.
And it's now like her, professional doctor name. But I had contacted her, the person who did her graphics for her wedding invitation. And so that's in the back of that plaque is her wedding paper design.
Oh my God.
She's the one I went over and beyond. But again, she was the first bride who booked me. Who, like,
Wow.
they're not getting rid of me. I think they're trying. They're not.
They're currently trying.
I think they're currently trying. They're over me, but it's fine. I don't handle breakups well. It's obvious.
Well, okay. So probably to maybe, I feel like the best way to end this would probably be the best piece of advice that you can give a couple planning their wedding. Oh man.
I feel like you're going to like this one a whole lot.
Oh, good. Okay. I love it already.
Really, really, truly think about your photographer.
Yes.
And I'm not doing that to blow smoke. We've had this conversation before where I was not in love with my pictures from my wedding. Really not in love with them. There are more pictures of my husband and his groomsmen than me with my bridesmaids. More pictures of his mother than of mine.
Oh.
More pictures of he and his mom's first dance than of me and my dad. Real weird. They're pretty and I really enjoy them, but there are a lot that we're just kind of missing that I'm like, what the heck?
Right.
But it wasn't like, yes, photography was a big thing for me, but it was a big thing for me that what fit in my budget. I should have saved up more or done something a little different to book someone who really like got me. I was like, oh, I really like your action photos. They had this one of this animal and I was like, oh my God, it speaks to me. That wasn't a wedding. That was an animal. Like, what? So just, really the only thing you get from your wedding, saying that loosely, you get your husband.
Right.
You get new jewelry. But really the only thing you get to keep are your photos. When you're 1,000 years old, because modern technology, we're all going to be 1,000. It's fine. And you're losing your memory. The only thing you get to look back on are those photos. So make sure that you really think through that one. If Pam wants to gift you with the photographer and it's her.
Yeah, tell Pam to shove it.
Tell Pam you can do our engagement photos.
Right.
But, really think through that one, because at the end of the day, like, those are the things you get to keep. And our wedding photos, 4 years later, is still like still my favorite things, or, I wish I had more of a certain kind. But those really are the ones that like we look back on and we're like, oh my gosh, this was so fun, so that's if you think the food, always go with good food. But you're a photographer.
I would
Totally.
say photographer or food. Yeah.
Well, here's my thing with the food. You want good food, but I've only done one wedding where someone was like, oh my God, I wish that caterer would open this so I could have that one thing.
Right.
Nobody knows that your food was phenomenal. They only know if your food sucks.
Right.
Dude, that chicken. Nobody's talking about like, oh my God, we went to, Larry and Kim's wedding and oh my God, those mashed potatoes. Like I'm still drooling. You don't hear that enough.
Right.
You don't. So like make sure the food is good, please, by all means.
Right.
Again, some caterers that legit like, please open a storefront. Like I'm dying here. But like people are going to remember it if it sucks.
Right.
They might not remember how drunk they were until your photographer's like, but look at these.
I got blackmail for you.
Right. And I feel like that's what people love to see. People want their day captured.
Yeah.
So please, I cannot stress that enough. I love photography and weddings. Like make sure we remember it. Make sure it's fully captured and by the right people.
That was good as shit. I love that. Man.
And it's not because you're my friend. I mean, I love you, dear. I need to work with you more.
I know. You and I have got to talk a little bit more on that one.
Yeah. We're really a package deal, actually.
We really are.
We really are.
It's going to come out soon. Just be prepared.
You get the two of us.
I don't know if someone can handle the both of us, but we're gonna force it on somebody, right?
I'm just thinking that's unfortunate for the people who can't.
Right. That's true.
We are so much friggin' fun.
I agree. I think our husbands would probably disagree a little bit, but either way,
they're fine.
Yeah, it's good.
They're fine.
Well, I can't thank you enough for taking the time and sharing your coffee with your dog's hair in it. And coming on and telling people all about you, who you are, because I already know who you are. You're just an amazing person through and through. She's a real gem. This is just the tip of the iceberg with her. So if you get a second, how can people find you? What's the best way to people getting to you?
Oh man. So my Instagram, Southern Belle, it's Belle without the E. That is my maiden name. It's not cute. Anyway, but it's Southern Belle Weddings and Events. I have a Facebook page. That is also my website. If you are interested in, learning more about me, or if you want to inquire with me, going through the Southern Belle Wedding and Events.com. There's a whole thing there. And yeah, the Instagram I keep up with. I know, Pams of the world probably have daughters. So there is a Facebook.
And then what about email? Do you have an email?
Yes, it is so ungodly long. So I'm so sorry for everyone. But it is Catherine at southernbelleweddings&events.com.
And then Catherine spelled with the C-A-T. Finish it for me.
H-E-R-I-N-E.
Perfect. There's day and age, there's so many Catherines spelled different ways. So I just want to make sure everybody gets to you.
Yeah. Yeah, all on the website, and the website link is in my Instagram, which, I post to more often than not, at least 3 times a week. So you can definitely see kind of who I am, my jam. But yeah.
Yeah, and as a vendor, I've gotten the chance to work with her, and we actually did a styled shoot together. She can put on a damn styled shoot, and I can't even fathom what a wedding is going to look like. So you guys are in for a treat when you do hire her. So again, thank you so much for coming on here. I love you to death.
Awesome. Thank you. You are the friggin' best.
Thank you so much, Kat.
Yeah. Thanks, Autumn.